just gonna go down in time. This is an natural makes it
happen. Great stop there. Oh, Dicey.
Oh my God, J-Mo, the champion of this one.
Oh, Asano! He gets the triple off the rocket as the full.
Welcome, Valorant fans, to the close qualifier for Challengers 3 in the Valorant Champions Tour presented by Nerd Street Gamers. My name is Tanner Metro. Joining me today is Dust. And Dust, this is the last chance for 8 teams to fight their way out for not only $50,000, but for that top 4 spot to qualify for Masters.
Absolutely, right? And Masters is obviously the most prestigious event we've had so far outside of First Strike and Valorant. And with Masters 2 being international, kind of up in Stage 2, we're really building up that storyline for competitive Valorant going forward as we're, kicking up into a different gear here for 2021. And there is a lot of really good teams in this bracket, a lot of really good teams that have yet to qualify for Masters. And so someone's going to be real sad at the end of all this, but luckily, they'll have more chances later on in the year, but we're hoping that we're going to send some great teams to face the teams that are already sitting there waiting in Masters. Of course, you already have the likes of Envy, Sentinels, Immortals, and Xset ready to go, and so we're just trying to decide those other 4 teams.
It's exactly what we're doing here this weekend in Challengers 3, Masters 1, Masters 2, chances throughout the year. Obviously, that's a whole lot to take in, and words sometimes can be hard, so we're going to go ahead and let our buddy Riv break down the format for you guys.
Welcome to the Valorant Champions Tour, a year-long tournament circuit featuring the best players and teams from all over the world, culminating in a global championship event, Valorant Champions. Each stage begins with challengers, where teams compete in regional tournaments for a place at Masters. Teams who compete in Masters events will earn points that help them qualify for Champions. And Champions is where the best teams from around the world compete on a global stage, where the art of greatness is on full display. And one team will be crowned 2021 Valorant Champions.
And that is how the year is going to break down or shake out. Obviously, that culminating event in Champions. But we've also got some good news about Masters 2, quite possibly being a LAN as well and being international. So there's a whole lot for the entirety of this year. And that obviously speaks well for Masters 3 down the road in the last chance. Now, more importantly, before we get way too far ahead of ourselves and Masters 2 and all that stuff, we're going to stick right here. And the 8 teams that we do have looking to qualify here. One unknown name to some, but the rest of the guys, like you said, Dust, somebody's probably going to get upset, and some fans out there are probably going to be sad that their team is going to be sent home without qualifying for Masters.
Absolutely. I mean, we definitely have a lot of quality teams still left in this qualification process, a couple of which have been considered top 5, like 100 Thieves and TSM. I think you have Luminosity, who has been really hot and heavy lately, placing top 3 fairly consistently in their most recent tournaments after they've brought on your boy Dre and Moose. So, I mean, those 3 teams I've mentioned are probably some of the favorites to get through, but you still have teams like Gen G and Energy who have also been in the top 10 for the bulk of their stints in Valorant, and same could be said for T1 and FaZe. So I mean, yeah, there's definitely going to be a few teams that are going to be really disappointed when this is all said and done, but we should get some really high quality teams in Masters no matter what is kind of the positive end of the spectrum if you're just kind of a fan of the game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out.
And it doesn't all play out today, guys. We do have that schedule for the weekend. As we said, it is going to be the top 4 teams. They're playing for their spot in Masters, obviously, but then there is $50,000 on the line. So tonight we're going to be kicking things off in the upper quarters, which is right where we're starting. So we're going to see 2 games of that and then a lower bracket round 1 game. Tomorrow will be the upper semis, the lower bracket round 2, and then upper finals, lower semis, lower finals, and then eventually that culminating event on Sunday in the grand finals. So I mean, just the teams alone, the storylines themselves, there is so much going on, and every single one of these games matters, especially because it is that last chance to get in. And there are a couple of teams And again, you know, no shade thrown, no hate towards these teams, but there are a couple of teams here that you probably would have expected based off their 2020 resumes to be sitting nice and pretty in Masters here in 2021, and they aren't.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that a lot of people were looking for 100 Thieves to qualify much sooner because of how well they did in First Strike, obviously winning that title. Now, obviously, they had to play without Nitro for kind of the first challenger stage, and then they now are making a really big roster change, right? Dicey out, Ethan in. So that's kind of a risky move to make when they probably didn't have a whole lot of time to practice and get Ethan in and kind of make those adjustments that they're trying to make. But long term, it might wind up being a fantastic move, as Ethan's a guy who has a ton of talent. And he's probably one of the biggest names to transition over from CSGO to Valorant in the North American scene after the likes of an Automatic and a Nitro. So you know, that's going to be really interesting how that plays out. And then, yeah, TSM's often been considered a top 5 team in the region, and they've been kind of sliding down the rankings as teams like XSET and Luminosity have been on the climb. So we're kind of waiting to see if they're going to finally scramble, get some recovery going, because they definitely have the talent to still be one of the best teams in North American Valorant.
100%. And as far as talent goes, guys, the matchup that we're going to have kicking things off today is going to be Luminosity taking on the Kooky Koalas, formerly known as DHBK. And I mean, LG, it speaks for themselves. That roster has been strong for the entirety of 2021. This Kooky Koalas team, some of you guys, if you follow that tier 2 scene or have followed, you know, some of those teams in the Slimy Boogerman, Mamba mode, things of that nature, you might recognize some names, but I think this team is a huge question mark, not only to the fans, but even here, there is almost, I guess, zero information. There's not a whole lot to go off for these guys.
No, I certainly get what you're coming from. I mean, yeah, you have a Luminosity team that has been playing really well. They came 3rd in the first Challengers event. They won the Nerd Street Gamers Winter Championship. They came top 3 at the KOA Invitational after picking up Moose and your boy Dre. And then even their older lineups in the past were teams that could still do pretty good in some of the like tier 2 events and you know, usually at least make it out of groups in some of the bigger events. And they're a team that has just, you know, steadily been on the rise. They were going toe-to-toe with Sentinels and beating them and upsetting them in a couple of tournaments and really showing you that they're a team to be worried about. You have a guy like a Proto who might be one of the best Sentinels players in North America on this roster. You also have Thief, who is like that super aggressive duelist who really can pop off and make big plays. And they just have an all-around solid lineup that likes to play a really assertive style of Valorant, and they're very effective with it. And then, yeah, you look at the Kooky Koalas, and like you said, you got a couple of guys that come from the old Mamba Mo gaming, you know, even a couple of guys who played on Pretty Boys, who are now, of course, XSET. Then you have Ange, who, of course, came from Rise. So, I mean, there's kind of a culmination of players that come from a couple of different tier 2 teams, and a couple of those guys are pretty good. Like, I definitely remember Anderson being like a really good player on the Smokes. Ange was a solid duelist for Rise. Definitely seemed to play above kind of the overall level of the team as far as what results they were getting. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely some talent on this team. And I definitely think that they could, you know, at least pop off and show a good match here, though they're obviously heavy underdogs coming into the series.
Heavy underdogs. As we see the players, now we can take a peek at where they are going to be headed. This actually surprised me to see that both Split and Haven were banned away. I thought Ascent was going to be gone. It might still be out of the question because it is map number 3, but the first map we're headed to, it is the map pick of the Kooky Koalas, and it is going to be Bind.
It's not a bad pick for them either. This is actually one of the maps for Luminosity that I feel has been a bit more 50-50 for them. It's actually one of their lowest win rates outside of Ascent overall as a team. Now, granted, they had 2 big roster changes kind of in the midst of all this, so I would say that it's a little bit harder to read. But even lately on Bind, they've been really dodgy. You know, they've been having some really big losses to teams like Immortals and XSET and Envy. So, I mean, they've really kind of had their struggles. They also gotten some wins over 100 Thieves and Envy and Sentinels. So, I mean, it's a little bit hit or miss, I guess you could say, for them on their Bind results recently. Whereas the Kooky Koalas, again, I think it's just a little bit too hard to kind of read where they're at. I would say Bind seems to be one of their most played maps if they put this lineup together, and they've been doing pretty well on it, right? I mean, they're like they're 4-1 or something like that in their last 5 games played. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to pull an upset over Luminosity, it would make sense that you would try to pick a map that they're maybe a bit 50-50 on, and a map that you've actually been putting some good results on so far with what you've done.
Yeah, and then Ascent speaks really well, right? The Ascent win rate for the Kooky Koalas, I don't have the amount of games that I can actually pull it up here, but it's 100% on Ascent. So that's kind of your decider at the end of the day. Map 3 could be a pretty decisive win. Now, I know there should be some polls headed up in the chat. And before you guys, go ahead and throw your channel points out, I want to give you some stats that I had taken for this. So LG, although things have looked shaky, they've qualified for all of the close qualifiers. And they've also, their last 10 games were 9 of them were against top 10 teams. So, you can't really take their losses. You have to take it with a grain of salt because of who they're playing. Now, for the Koalas, the biggest stat here for me is out of all of the games that they've played in the VCT, or series rather, excuse me, that's 5 series that they've played. They allow on average 6.9 rounds a game. That's including their losses where teams scored 13, but average, they give up less than 7 rounds in, I think it was 26 games or something of the sort that they had played. Or, I'm sorry, not 26 games, but it was like 60 something rounds.
Yeah, they've certainly torn up who they've played, right? I mean, and they've played some decent teams like Built by Gamers and Beast Coast and things of that nature. So I mean, they definitely played some decent teams, but now this is a big step up in the level of competition for sure, as we are going to see players locking in their agents here for Bind. No shocker here to see the comp that we're seeing from LG. This is exactly the type of agents I would expect them to be playing on Bind, just considering their track records and their past as a unit. And then looking over at the, Koalas side, again, Anderson's always been a guy who plays on the spokes. Ainge has always been kind of that duelist type player. So you're basically seeing a lot of what you thought you'd see on their agent select as well. No real curveballs, no real, oh, wow, I'm kind of shocked to see this. It was kind of what I was expecting going into this. I know that every now and then you could see Stellar still play a little bit of Sage, but that's usually more split in Icebox. So with it being Bind, it obviously makes sense to still see him playing on the smokes in this particular situation. So yeah, nothing on the agent select is really catching me off guard. It seems pretty standard.
Pretty standard across the board here. As you take a look, when you look at the compositions, you have your Sentinels, you have your smokes. In this one, it's actually going to be the Jet op coming in for Screwface rather than LG. They opt out of it, right? They have the Raze and the Phoenix. So I'm interested to see how far Screwface can take this team, sticking to his tried and true, almost solely, if not solely, playing that Jet, which I know that there's, a lot of feathers ruffled in the scene right now with Dicey and speculation as to, obviously a whole lot of reasons come into it, but being one-directional or one-dimensional, I should say. So we'll see how far Screwface can get on this Jet.
Bro. Screwface has played Jet 132 times, and the only other agent that registers is 5 times on Raze and twice on Phoenix. So yeah, he has definitely been that perma Jet for quite some time, but can be very effective on it. Let's be real. I mean, when you play with Slimy Boogerman, Prospects, Mamba Mo Gaming, his numbers were always very strong, and they have certainly been very strong in their most recent games against Beast Coast and BBG and Space Station. So not a shock to see him stick with that. And again, I think it's if Koalas are going to pull the upset, I feel like it has to be him and it has to be Ange, who is again a guy who looked really strong on Rise, on Duelist, and then Anderson. I think that's like 3 big names you have to keep an eye on for this team.
Absolutely, as it's looking to be quick here. We know that this is how they like to play, obviously, to be assumed, the aggressive play style.
Really. So I imagine we're going to see a lot of really round fireworks because both teams are that up-tempo type of team.
Ult goes through. Nice Molotov comes down with the tag, and the Proto able to get one through the smoke here, not respecting the Cypher. As the remaining 3 trying to flank on through. Satchel Charge gonna keep him at bay, and here comes the teleport play. But this could be interesting because you see Dim Sum maybe hovering. Okay, I thought he was gonna meet that train of 4 over towards short, but instead they completely split the site here, and Mike yet to go down. Hot Hands gonna look to delay for a moment. Thief finds another kill, but it's traded back. Koalas on the back foot, but only for a moment here. Harmon able to get on, but a Proto with the flank still popping the grapes, and now we find ourselves in a 2v2. Dim Sum with the long boy flank. Unfortunately, not enough there, and that would have been a good one to pick up here against this squad.
Yeah, I mean, with LG having the opening pick, they had the ability to be a little bit more scrappy throughout the rest of the round. They already had the man advantage. They just had to make sure they stayed a step ahead the whole way through. And really the only thing that Koalas could have done to maybe stop that from happening is if Dim Sum could have gotten that flank off through Market, as we were talking about, but it just never quite happened. I think Moose picked up on it. It was the one that got the frag there. And they were just able to, obviously read Koalas were heavy teleporting to A. They were very committed to transitioning, and LG were able to, rotate there very quickly and meet them right at the door. Didn't really give Koalas any space to take the site and feel comfortable. So pretty solid win for LG, though I guess, there was some trading back and forth, but LG did survive with 2 players. They'll obviously go ahead and upgrade up to the SMGs. They're doing a great job right now, kind of denying space, particularly at the Showers position here with the Proto.
And if you've watched anything on the Kooky Koalas, you're assuming, okay, there it is. Screwface finds a kill with the Bucky. I'd say you're assuming that they're not going to try and fight right in the face of this team because they do force up these shotguns and they make it work over and over. Now LG on the back foot, but they do have, across the board, the arsenal advantage in Spectres. I think the rest of the squad for the Kooky Koalas was Sheriffs.
Yeah, I mean, I thought LG were doing some good things early in this round, denying space, particularly a Proto at Showers. We also did see that Moose got aggressive at Long B for a little bit of intel, but unfortunately for LG, Koalas did catch a pick there over near hookah position. It gives them the 5-on-4. Now they're forced to defensive spread a bit thin. They're playing 2 to each site right now, so they're going to get a basically 5-on-2 take, whichever direction they go, but they're still going to have to close that distance with these shotguns to be able to have the most impact. And if a Proto plays his cam right, he'll be able to get a pretty quick rotation, and they could still feasibly just play for a retake based on the superior firepower and utility they still have at their disposal.
And with 30 seconds, Kooky Koalas looking to pull the trigger here. Stellar from downtown finds one, trying to come out of bathrooms, and the spike is actually not going to fall. Dim Sum low on HP. But enough to find a kill with the Sheriff. Able to find another here. And this eco round is actually all going the way of the Kooky Koalas, but it's a 1v1 Moose playing with time in his hand. He's able to spray him down, and a huge clutch coming out there for LG.
Yeah, Moose had to be the guardian angel there. Koalas were really threatening that site. While I think the big kills when Screwface picked up on Thief, who was trying to rotate over towards that U-Haul position. When that kill went his way with the Bucky, it was actually looking quite good for Koalas. I mean, LG early on in the round were actually playing nice. They were playing kind of towards the back of the site. They were buying time for the rotation. They were getting a couple of kills here and there. They were staying in the mix despite being a man down early. But yeah, luckily for them, Moose was able to come through with a big clutch. He was always known as like a really solid clutch passive rifler from the CSGO scene, and he's obviously making that transition over to Valorant. He's been playing for quite some time now. He's still probably learning the ropes a little bit, but definitely a big individual effort there to kind of save LG from giving a round away early. And we're going to see Koalas pick up some Sheriffs and a Bucky, so they're still investing some into this round, but still certainly should have a comfortable full buy next round.
Screwface going right back to it. What a taste of his own medicine. Thief with the Bucky. And that actually tells me with Screwface forcing up the Bucky light armor there is, I don't think he's expecting to have an operator anytime soon, if at all, on this attacking side.
No, that's actually a really good point. Like, you already 4-spot and lost, and now you're basically still spending money in this round, you know, never taking a full save, so it's certainly going to limit, you know, what you're going to be able to purchase going forward. So that could be a kind of like a hamstring long-term for Koalas, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. Like you said, they're a team that likes to be aggressive. They like to be in your face. They don't like to be conservative with their economy. So it's not a shocker, but like you said, it can maybe set Screwface back from having his main weapon quickly, as we're going to see LG kind of go into a bit of a bonus round situation here. They're keeping the Bucky on Thief. They still have those Spectres on a Proto and your boy Dre. There are some rifles in play, though. I think we actually see Moose picking up the Bucky and passing over the Phantom to Thief. So going to be, you know, trying to just keep that economy flowing and see if they can't pull one over with a little bit less weaponry.
And this time, again, aggressive as Thief actually tosses over the Bucky to a teammate, grabs a Phantom, and Harmon going to take that one down. So Koalas off to a good start. Unfortunately, it's taken 4 rounds to do so. It's taken 4 rounds to grab rifles, right, with the Force coming in the second. And that drone surely going to push him away for a moment, but they're still hanging out.
I like that from Moose. He basically denied the Boombot getting hookah access, and now he gets to take position. He's got that Bucky up close on the doorway, so he could definitely still be very much a spoiler to Koalas, who were certainly starting off this round hot with that opening pick. I mean, obviously a very aggressive push at Long B from your boy Dre, very risky, didn't pay off, but your boy Dre able to get that one. Or excuse me, not your boy Dre, but it's the Phoenix of the team, Thief, that got caught.
Yeah, and your boy Dre does find that. Here's that Bucky that's been waiting ever so patiently. Able to pop the grape there of Ainge, and now things are getting a bit dire. Playing inside the smokes here. So this is kind of the reverse of what we just saw, or the inverse of what we just saw. The spike yet to be planted, and Anderson just holding steady on these corners. Moose able to find another as Screwface looks to go aggressive through hookah to clear it out, and he says, no way, Jose. Now Koalas, I mean, sure, you can look to plant, but they're completely surrounded here.
Yeah, Moose made the play of the round by recapturing that hookah control with his drone after the Boombot got cleared out, getting 3 kills, now 4 kills from that position. Obviously, start with the Bucky up close on the door, able to collect a Vandal from that point. And honestly, that's great for LG, because I thought they were in a lot of trouble when Thief got caught at Long B. Like, it's just so tough to recuperate from an early 4-on-5 defensively, but Moose making a heads-up play with the drone, holding on Nuka control for the entire round, never letting Koalas feel comfortable. They were all funneled through a long B. They always had to worry about their backside while focusing on the side itself, and just got overwhelmed. So Moose is off to a hot start. Already got 8 kills in the 4 rounds played, back-to-back multi-frag rounds, and he's got the economy of Koalas in complete disarray.
Standing ahead.
Face Optin into the knives in this round, looking to, again, gonna be that catalyst for his team. The hookah control just has not been there, whether it's been with the Bucky or without. That is a scary spot for this Koalas team to push on up. And there it is again, the hot hands, melt down the boombot. Not gonna get a whole lot of information, or no information, actually, because they're right outside hookah. Maybe thinking this one's clear isn't the best case scenario. Face pushes up, shock darts go through, and they actually didn't spot him here either. So maybe can get the better half of this one.
Yep. Could get the snipe.
Moose has just got it on lock, though. There is absolutely no way. Meantime, the spike dust.
Good paranoia as well to push that player off. Like, he definitely found a window where he got in front of the shot darts and he could have been able to get a snipe at long range, but it didn't happen. But there's still only a 2-man defense right now over at this A side of the map. So Koalas is actually finding a little bit of a gap perhaps, but oh no, a couple of big misses. And your boy Dre collects 2 to be able to call for the rotation now, and Koalas are in a lot of trouble.
Ooh, but Dim Sum going back to work with the Sheriff. Able to make this one a bit more doable. Unfortunately, that rifle just out of reach, as he gets quite a bit of information with that neural theft. Flash comes through, and it looks like he wants to challenge. Somebody's got to grab the spike. That's the problem. Now that running back going to be used. The running back going to find a kill. And Thief, I mean, you can just kind of run them down right here. They're out of time. Anderson has nowhere to go. Moose going to find one in the back as LG moved to 5. I was wondering how this game itself, the magnitude would affect this Koalas team. Would it be, hey guys, let's go out there and have fun, we just made it to a $50,000 tournament, or is it going to be the nerves that are setting in because you're playing a team of this caliber in Luminosity? And it does seem to be nerves a bit.
That, and I feel like Luminosity are just not letting them get in their comfort zone, right? Like, Luminosity are doing a very good job at, like, denying space that you always want to use as a launching pad and attack. Like, you want to be able to at least get one of Showers or Hookah, if not both, to really kind of establish your default and start setting up those, you know, set pieces or those fine-tuned executes, and they're never really able to do that. Like, LG are constantly getting in their face inside Hookah. We've seen LG be able to pivot between either playing aggressive inside Showers and denying it, or playing really intelligently in the back of the site and buying time for rotations, and their trading efficiency is just way higher as well. I mean, you look at the scoreboard there, you can see, I mean, a couple of those guys are really struggling. I mean, there's like, I don't know. Quick Matt's always kind of a tough one for me, but there's 11 total kills over on the side of Koalas right now. And I mean, Moose almost had that cover by himself with 9, and he's yet to die. So that just goes to show you the fragging domination really is also existing for LG, as well as they're just, again, denying so much map control time and time again. So I feel like Koalas at some point are going to have to be able to establish some map control early in these rounds to kind of, you know, force LG to second guess where they need to be rotating, or, you know, just deny them some information.
We'll see. It was a tactical timeout coming out from the Koalas. We'll see if that was enough to kind of recoup here. They do have a couple of ultimates they could use to clear some angles, play that post plant. Haven't really been able to get the plant down, so that is maybe not where they're looking to use these ultimates, as Moose goes wide trying to clear out Showers, and
it's
able
happening
to buy
again.
some space, but yeah,
it's happening again where Showers is being denied to Koalas. So they're basically being funneled back over to B side. There's 3 players defending here, and they have Octagon. So they're not going to give up long B for free. The only thing that Koalas can really take is Hookah, but the way that LG are set up, they're aware of that as a possibility, and they're going to be fine. You know, they have the spots they want to be safe from that angle while really being able to make sure that they hold on the long B control and get that rotation that they want.
And man, a Proto and your boy Dre working so well there. They get mowed down, hopping out of Hookah, and while all of that was happening, a Proto was just hanging out on camps. He spots he spots Dim Sum pushing up long, and he says, hey, go ahead, use the showstopper. An easy kill there, and then there was no way on the site because of what Stellar did.
I mean, LG are just suffocating koalas right now, and I hate that there's a mental image now of a koala being suffocated because they're very cute, and I don't want that to happen to any koala out there. I'm a big, you know, wildlife fan, but I mean, if you just look at what's happening on the server right now, again, it's the same thing that we were talking about. It's LG denying space, and then they just set up perfectly because of it. Like, they had long B covered, they denied showers control, and they could just have one guy watching the hookah drop out, knowing that his long B was going to be covered, and he could have an escape route if need be that direction. But now we're going to see Koalas change the pace with a very fast short A hit.
And they're using ultimates with it as your boy Dre's able to find it with some utility of his own, but it's traded back, and Dimsum will fall to a proto as well from the shadows, coming on through in a shock dart from downtown to delay the spike plant for just a moment. Now, once they do finally have this site, LG have just pounced on it and have them completely corralled. Hot hands can be used. Screwface able to find that. I thought maybe going wide. Paranoia as he dashes into his own cloud burst. Tries to toss down another, and Anderson picks one up with the ghost. This would be a nice eco to pick up, and Koalas are looking to get it done, but they still have to worry about Moose. He has been the clutch lord here. He finds the first, needs to find the next. So much time for this Sova. No Molotov, no orbital strike, nothing here to stop this plant. Outside of Anderson, just holding a steady and buying all the time that he can. Now Moose should surely be stabbed in the back, and Koalas get on the board.
Well, there's one way to contest you losing map control a lot early in the rounds. It's just plowing before map control even matters. You just run it down their throat. They obviously had the showstopper. They had the drone. They just chased after it. They got that U-Haul control early. And again, like, they've always been playing like pretty up-tempo, but this time they even slammed the pedal to the metal harder. And just really ran it up the gut there, and they did a great job taking space fast, getting finally some trading efficiency on their side of things, as opposed to being out-fragged the whole rest of the game. So that was a nice little pivot there from Koalas, and I imagine we're going to start seeing a little bit more of that. But the problem then becomes, how often can you count on that to work?
Yeah, it's, the brute force only works so much, and it's actually something that I was going to bring up, right? Because Screwface, I believe, out of all of the open qualifiers for a series, had the highest ACS. So that's a player that you're expecting to kind of just play aggressive, take gunfights, and win them. And then coming into this, I feel like the Kooky Koalas slowed down a little bit. They tried to go to a more default style as if that was the way that they were going to win. But if anything, if the 7th round was telling of anything, it's just take the fights and try and win them. And hopefully they keep on doing that so they can make this one a bit more digestible as a close game.
At least they were able to get showers control on orb this time around. So that's something that they kind of struggled with in the past. They're also still testing with Screwface here over towards that hookah position. So, they're able to start establishing a little bit of early map control finally. So that's nice as we get into the mid round. They're looking to set up for a hit. Screwface has been spotted by Stellar there in the back of the site. They also still have Thief set up close here in the corner. They already have Moose rotated as well in the back hall. So defense is in place here, but it's all going to come down to trading at this point.
Ooh, and a Hunter Shuri on top of it all. Bit of damage traded out, and Harmon is able to close it off. Finds another one. That's the second death there. Moose doubling the deaths tally, unfortunately, in this round. And the Koalas, they go back to the slower play style. Now they're running out of time, though. They have to get that spike planted, and hopefully nothing gonna be able to stop it. It's the grenades that go down.
Oh, man, that was close.
Okay, I didn't know if the spike got planted because the planter died to the paint shells.
Yeah, he did get it off right before the paint shells landed, so that was almost a really unfortunate timing for Koalas, but they did pull through. The problem is both these rounds have been pretty alt-reliant for Koalas to pull it off, right? I mean, that round it was getting 2 kills off the Hunter's Fury. The previous round it was the Showstopper buying a bunch of room at A. You're not always going to have those, right? This round, they still do have the orbital strike, and they have the daggers here for Screwface. That's why he's going to pick up the Bucky, because he's going to be able to have the sniping option, essentially, of the daggers. And obviously, on this map, orbital strike can be huge, particularly for canceling out U-Haul or the B-side itself. So, I mean, you can get a lot of value with it. But we'll see what Koalas come up with as they're trying to challenge a B-split very early here. They're already getting well towards Octagon.
LG have done a pretty good job mixing up who's playing where to keep that utility spaced out on both sides. As Moose to spot out Screwface and the knives, not gonna be able to get the jump this time around. Your boy Dre, though, might have the jump on him as the proto trade to kill Slimy Anderson. Anderson able to trade it back there.
He could be.
He could be. That was get it out. We need the Koalas tag for this squad now, playing in a close qualifier.
That's a big move from
here.
LG, though, to get aggressive up short A and just basically pinch Koalas in, and now your boy gets to pop his own, but Screwface out ults it with his daggers. What a shot. That's massive, and Dimsum will add in, and now all of a sudden it's wide open round. Koalas have a chance to take this. They have a 3-on-2 advantage.
Yeah, and now they have a bit more for the post plan, right? They have that orbital strike. Screwface still has the knives available, and I mean, Dim Sum is matching that of Proto energy. Unfortunately, didn't have a whole lot of health there as the knives go up top. Gonna get the reset is Screwface, and Moose finds himself once more in a 1v2. I believe the same 1v2 he found himself just moments ago on the A site. Screwface and Anderson. Who's gonna probably get this one halfway, so nice and easy on that. The dash over to the showers. Now he has to worry about it. He's pinched between two, and Screwface finds a 3K to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, it really did all come down, I feel like, to Screwface canceling out your boy Dre, because LG actually had the man advantage. They were able to get short A deep. They were basically pinching off Koalas and limiting their options, and then it was basically on Screwface to break through, take down your boy Dre, knock out the showstopper, and that just really unlocked A site and allowed them to start collecting a man advantage. And at that point, it was just going to be really tough for LG to fight back. But now, all alts are off the table for the most part, except for a couple of neural thefts. And this is where I'm curious now, what happens without those big tools for Koalas? How do they handle a more standard round? As once again, we see LG denying that Showers control early. But Koalas are able to get Hookah pretty quickly here.
And Proto doing his job here on the site for just hanging out on that cam, trying to get all the information that he can. And outside of, you know, switching up where these agents are playing, Proto doing a good job keeping that camera, keeping Koalas guessing as to where that camera is playing at all times. Screwface gets tagged up, and not too much follow-up. Hunter's Fury was available, but Moose chooses to hang on to that one, quite possibly to deny a plant at a later date. And Proto almost would have had a free kill there if he would have just peeked on out. Screwface kind of blindly on the ledge there outside of Hookah. Now gonna dash onto the side as they look to take control. The three from LG are still hanging tight over towards A. Now the teleport's starting to come through, and unfortunately, Moose gonna fall. The first one to go down as Dim Sum finds that kill. And that kind of gives up a whole lot of control. No, Screwface tries to go aggressive. Neural Theft now gives the information. And once more, the Koalas, they're on the site, but they can't plant. They're completely corralled. They have to just frag out, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. They're going back and forth. But Proto going to be the last to fall now. Thief in a 1v3. His head going to be spotted. Tagged through the wall of Hookah on top of it all. As the Blaze Wall has a couple of curveballs, might just look to save. No, shot in the back as the Koalas some way, somehow pull that one out.
Yeah, it really just came down to, again, them being able to get Hookah control while simultaneously keeping enough presence towards A side to not really allow LG to rotate. They were still very much set on having those 3 A defenders in place. They knew that they obviously had the portal for quick rotation if need be. I don't know if they were maybe looking to get aggressive on short A again. Whatever the case may be, Koalas caught a great timing on kind of a vulnerable B site when it came to personnel. And then at that point, it just comes into a slugfest, right? As many of these rounds have, where it's just about who can trade a little bit better. And that round, once again, it was the Koalas, who are now on a run. They've won 4 rounds in a row. They now actually have LG on a low buy, and they're really recovering this half nicely.
And how strange is it that it works like that sometimes? It wasn't the tactical pause that did it, because they lost that next round coming in. I think it was a buy as well. But as soon as LG hits 6, the Koalas just turn it back on. And I feel like maybe it's just my solo queue games, but that happens all too often that you kind of just start losing control.
Yeah, I mean, it may just be coming out a little bit cold too, right? Like maybe your aim's just not quite where you want it to be.
True.
Maybe you're just not really getting the fragging flowing as you're used to. So a lot of it comes into it, but now we're going to see Moose hitting up the Hunter's Fury. Tags 2, finds a frag, and a bit of intel, finds a second one. What an absolute ult from Moose. That's big, and he's not done yet.
A free kill through the smoke as well with the Sheriff. Screwface spotted out as he tried to sneak on through into the cloudburst, and just not enough here. A huge hold, and again, it's Moose kind of leading the charge for LG in these round wins. Is that Bucky gonna find the head there of Dim Sum Boy, sit him down, and Harmon finds himself in a 1v5, and Moose actually challenging here with the Sheriff.
30 seconds left.
Not able to find too much just yet. 30 seconds and the spike, so Harmon has a bit to work with. Not able to find those shots. Should he push onto the side? Okay, there's no way to go. He has to teleport. Yeah,
he's done so. Let's be real. I mean, yeah, 5-on-1, not happening. And that's wild, because if you're Koalas, you finally got to the easy round that you've been hunting for. You've worked so hard to finally get LG up against the ropes economically, right? Because they were on such a winning spree. They were dominating the majority of the half, and you finally get the one you've been working for, the freebie. and then out of nowhere, Moose pops off a 2-kill Hunter's Fury, despite the fact that they were mostly sitting on Sheriffs, and they still wound up winning the round basically because of that. So the freebie's gone. And bro, what else is wild? This is the first round Screwface has had an operator. Which, to be fair, on attacking side, it's a little bit harder to implement an operator, so a lot of teams kind of bypass it. That's why I've even seen some players that weren't operators, like Scream, for example, play Jet just to be like an entry rifler on attacking side. So it's not like crazy that they haven't had an op until now. But yeah, I'm curious to see what happens now that they have it.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me think about the thought process too. Why now? I guess it is the last round of the half, so maybe you're kind of just sending it all. But
right,
for 4 rounds, the rifle was working, the knives were working, and now the Hunter's Fury has to start to work here. Anderson's able to close out that kill. Nice peek coming out of the shower. So shower control once more. Hookah not completely. For us, it's clear, but
for a pro, yeah, when they basically play jump rope with the Hunter's Fury while also getting peeked at the same time by Anderson, it's like that's a tough spot. I mean, that's a great combination from Koalas. It's really well done to make sure that they get the kill one way or another, right? If it's not the Hunter's Fury, it's going to be because you push them out of position with it. You allow your rifler to take charge, and it allows them to really establish some good showers control. They have great presence. LG still don't know what's going on at Hookah, by the way. They're having a drone into it now, so they haven't been able to rotate. So still just these 2 defenders on the site, and so a great advantage for Koalas.
Ooh, Hunter's Fury gonna get sent back. Your boy Dre, fortunately, is there to help Thief out should anybody look to push on through. And that was the operator coming on in to find that kill to send. To run it back from whence it came. That spike to be planted. Recon Bolt looking for some information. And Screwface from downtown able to find a kill. So making the operator, or putting the operator to good use, rather. As your boy Dre looks for his way on. They know where that Sova is playing Harmon. Just kind of being a nuisance just in this corner as the paranoia comes through. Shot's gonna go wide. Your boy Dre finds that one. Now they should just be able to 2-man push, make it a 3-man push on through, and the kills are starting to flow for LG. Dim sum off the site here, and there's just not a whole lot that you can expect right here. It's your boy Dre to close it out. The defuse to come on through. And an 8-4 half. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump to a quick break. When we come back, Dust will break that one down for you. To 4 at the half as the kooky Koalas now mount the defense on their map pick. And the last round, Dust, it felt like that was their round.
That was such a good retake from LG. The fact that they were able to basically zone off Harmon with the paranoia and then be able to focus fire short A and then pick off Harmon with the double swing. It's just LG being so well coordinated with their retake right there. And that's a big round for them to win. Koalas are starting to play recovery And then LG steal the last 2 rounds of the half to still maintain a really sizable lead as they now go on the attack. And, well, they're also a pretty fast-paced team, Tanner, so they're not wasting any time getting this A site.
No, an A site, it seemingly free as 2 almost get spotted on the way through. Proto is able to make the call, but unfortunately it's a second too late, and Thief not able to help him there. So 1 kill to the good are the Koalas. Members hanging out towards showers to make sure that there's no way back in for the retake through this avenue of approach. Curveball queued up. Stellar.
Oh,
looking
no.
to go aggressive, and now they're all just starting to fall here. What seemed like a pretty seamless take onto this A site might get a bit more seamless. Here it is, your boy Dre, even in the odds. And unfortunately, that's not going to be enough. Coming out of showers, Screwface sits him down. So the Koalas pick up a very important pistol here to regain that momentum.
That was smart. I mean, they basically forfeited short A, but knowing that, okay, we're just going to push 2 players through showers and get basically into attacking spawn. And at that point, you're forcing LG to either have to push into you to deny that flank option, or they're going to have to push somewhere else because they know that if they get boxed into the site, their resources are going to be spread a little bit too thin. They're going to be getting pushed from way too many angles at once. They're going to be in a lot of trouble. So LG decided to try to take the fight outside showers. They lost that duel, and they also lost a duel in defending back spawn. So when you lose on both fronts like that, you're going to have a hard time holding off the retake. And that was a great round from Koalas to kind of just play it smart. Just be like, okay, you took that. We're going to take some pieces of the map ourselves, and we're just going to box you in. And they come up with the round.
Now on pistols, it's going to be a slower start for LG. It's a bit of damage. Oh, Stellar. Okay, with the classic
No
god.
way, bro.
Able to find that kill, and that, I mean, Thief is low on health, able to use the hot hands to heal up, so not in the best spot, but they're still doing it.
What?
LG, they don't need the rifles. They don't need the Spectres or the Buckies. It's classic all the way here.
Tanner, what am I watching, bud? This can't happen. You can't win the pistol round convincingly like that and then just give it back with a bunch of classics, bro. Screwface, though, nice little poke and hope there with the dash and the ghost. Gets 2 kills and still has the Bucky to play with. So he might be the hero for Koalas with that play. That evens it right back up, and it buys them a way back into the round.
Yeah, the first couple of kills with the classics, you're thinking, okay, that's probably not going to happen again. But for the rest of the round, LG could play the numbers, and 2 classics might be better than 1 Spectre in some situations. Now it's a bit harder to do with 2 kills coming through, and from downtown, Screwface just going right back to work. A 4K with the Bucky, and the gap now closes to 2.
Yeah, that was really well done. Screwface, definitely the guardian angel of his team that round. They were looking like they were bleeding out, losing those 2 players to classics from distance, I might add. Never really a good thing to see on the kill feed. But this play from Screwface, just perfect. The kill, the re-peek, catching a couple, getting away, keeping that Bucky in play from hookah position while his team was rotating around through elbow and back halls. Winds up getting a quad kill. And yeah, again, just the hero that they needed to kind of stop the bleeding.
And the knives on top of it all. So that last kill netted him the Blade Storm there. So he's able to hang on to, I was thinking, this bonus doesn't feel great because a Bucky versus a Phantom, I guess, unless at specific angles, probably isn't going to be the best. But now that he has the knives, I think that bodes very well for Screwface in this round.
Gives him a lot of options to fight at both ranges effectively. As they obviously spotted heavy numbers here at Fountains with their own drone. Moose will now counter drone to try to get a little bit of intel over towards Long, but he's not really going to get anything. That smoke obviously kind of blocking. They also did great to shoot down the drone. And look at the defense set up. Koalas has 4 players here, 2 inside hookah, 1 back halls, 1 up close on Octagon. They're basically just kind of trusting in their trap wires and the cam on A to keep intel. It's only a Proto playing that side for LG, just trying to maintain some presence. But LG are certainly looking to still split this B site. And now Quaz do rotate 1 player over just in case, but they still have... Oh, wait, they're even rotating their jet as well. And now they're doubling back. Okay, this is great because now their Cypher actually got into showers, knows it's clear, so now they can reinforce this 4-man defense on B site.
And they're going to put down another 20-second smoke delayed thing. As a showstopper going to be, is it's able to find the kill onto Harmon. There was no way to go, but a lot of utility used there. The hot hands were also sacrificed as your boy Dre through the wall, going to find Screwface, the blaze wall that is. And now it's all starting to fall apart. It was slow until it wasn't. They waited down the clock. and left it all up to one. It's Dim Sum Boy, the last alive in a 1v5, and we saw how the last 1v5 went, and I don't know if the Spectre is the gun of choice for this one.
Dude, that's actually wild that LG won the round basically through pure brute force because they picked the wrong site. I mean, if you're thinking of it from an outside perspective, right? That was a site that had 4 players defending thanks to their Cypher being able to get Shower's control and just feel confident that he could anchor the site by himself and allow them to kind of keep a strong defense in place. They even had a good setup, but your boy Dre gets that entry with the showstopper, kind of, you know, gut checks the player that might be boosted up top close to Octagon. He's correct. He gets that frag, and that just kind of opens the floodgates. And LG don't lose a single player to a 4-man site defense. That is insane, man, that they were that efficient with their trades. And there was no trades, bro. It was just open market. They're just out there hawking everything.
And it felt a little strange because sure, it was a bonus round, but it was played very passively, right? Just around previous, the Koalas were playing aggressive. They were peeking long, getting that information. They were up in hookah and playing aggressive, trying to get info. Had they done any of that, they would know that 4 were stacked up towards B long for an entire minute and 15 seconds before pushing onto the site. So an interesting turn of events, but now an operator in the hands of Screwface, and we kind of talked about it. That should be kind of the key moment that they turn things around.
Look at it this way, Tanner. I mean, yeah, they do have the firepower disadvantage, so you kind of give them a pass on that, but positionally they were so superior. And it almost kind of canceled out, I feel like, their weaponry disadvantage, but still unable to come up with it, as we are going to see LG now looking to set up at A side. The Jet of Koalas has pushed and checked Fountain and knows that no one's there, so they're able to start making their rotations already. It's all going to come down to timing, as LG are certainly going to challenge, but they're being held off by a Cage and now a Smoke, so their quick A take has been hampered. And again, look at the rotation from Koalas. They have all 5 here, again, because they were able to have Screwface push through long B and spot no one. So they feel pretty comfortable to keep this defense in place at the back of A. But LG, the longer that they sit back and wait, the more they're going to force Koalas to break off of this and start respecting B again as a threat, which they have done. They've already sent 2 players back who are now just playing passive on the site. Denson looking for information at short A. Unfortunately, he finds more than he was bargaining for.
If not what he was hoping to get. Falling down there is Henderson just standing right inside of the paranoia, which is the near side. Not going to be enough, and it's all starting to come down. Ainge is able to trade a couple back here, and things get a bit more doable, but it's still a 3v2. The run it back is available for Thief. It is going to be popped and might be run down. No, Stellar is there to back him up, and I mean, we've seen that 2 or 3 times in this game. There's always one more in reserve when that run it back is used, and unfortunately, Screwface forced to save.
Yeah, really good job there by LG. They were able to kind of stall out long enough to force Koalas to rotate back and get off the stack, and then Dim Sum, he's just looking for intel. He probably didn't really want to commit to a duel. He just wanted to see if anyone was there to kind of get a little bit of a decision on, okay, how do we need to be rotating? What are the numbers we need to watch out for? And when he gets caught, that just unleashes LG to start pressing forward, knowing that they're going to have a huge edge on the site, able to get into U-Haul. And like you said, Ainge, he had a couple of nice little kills there. He was trying to fight it back, but just not enough, as LG will now get to double digits, and you know, economy's starting to become a real problem for Koalas. Gonna have to go with just share us alongside the saved operator. And so LG are in prime position on a map that they have been a bit shaky on, if we're honest, results-wise in the past. A chance to, you know, claim it anyway. Just showing that they're a superior team when it comes to experience and just overall talent. I mean, certainly we've seen some good things out of Koalas, but a lot of the time they've been outclassed. Even in rounds where they've had advantages, they've kind of coughed them up. So this is where they need to kind of tunnel in and see if they can't come up with something special.
Screwface,
there you
nice
go.
peek on the hero op, able to find one, so making things a bit more doable once more. Is this Jet with the now they've got the info. That one might be playing up, and there it is. Spots out Thief, able to get away. The Hunter's Fury on top of it all, finds a third. Screwface is popping off with the operator, and it doesn't matter. The heroics come through from the hero operator, but there's still 2 more to worry about.
Yeah, Screwface has absolutely done what he needed to do this round. He knew that he had to be the playmaker in a round where they didn't have much to work with other than his op and some sheriffs, and he was able to go out there and take peeks and just basically play the Jet operator to perfection this round. Big round for him with those 3. They should be closing this out in a 5-on-2. There really shouldn't be a chance to lose unless they slip on a banana peel. as Ainge already has this close-up angle as well that may or may not even get checked. It does get checked by Moose, but is he going to expose himself to get the kill? No, he's able to actually back away. Stellar gets 1-2. Moose comes back. They've got it into a 2 versus 2. How is this possible?
The ult over towards A, though, and the plan, it's actually going to get spotted here by the operator. Screwface just proving to be the hero of this round, as Moose going to be the last to creep on up, and Screwface should just be able to nest egg right on top of the spike. Hunter Shuri, I mean, this is the third time we've seen this 1v2. And it is going to be the ace coming on through as he leaps on up. Screwface finds the leg, finds the 5th kill, and another round for Koalas.
I'm kind of torn as the analytical type of person, Tanner, because on the one hand, I mean, Screwface absolutely popped up the operator. What an absolute monster this round. Just so perfect in how he was maneuvering around the map, hitting some difficult shots, particularly that one on Thief inside hookah position. But I have to also ask myself, how did they let it get back into a 2-2? But then why is Stellar planting there? Yeah. Of all the places you could plant, if when you're ulting, you know that you're stranded. You know it's going to take a little bit of time for Moose to make the rotation to be your assistant. I don't know why you would plant in such an exposed position. Like, the moment you ult, they know that you're going to the other side probably. They're going to cover it. I don't know why he would have planted in such an open position. Maybe there's a reason for it, that someone can shoot me a message or something like that, but I just think that playing conservatively would have been way better, just to make sure you get the plan off and make sure that you can get away and then play out the 2-on-2.
Yeah, especially when the last place you saw the Jet was on B. Same with the Brimstone. So it's either going to be heaven or
it's like he was scared of a short A flank, but
yeah, exactly.
But surely the back calls threat's way more probable. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one for me to understand. But the other thing for me is like the fact that Koalas almost lost around like that. Like, it makes me worry a little bit about their consistency. Like, I'm seeing flashes of brilliance from this team. They definitely have some talented players, but that's really scary that you almost let a 2-on-5 slip. And yeah, again, it was around. They didn't have much to work with. It was mostly the operator Screwface, but that was still really scary.
Yeah, taking the individual heroics and the 1v1s with the Sheriffs didn't necessarily feel like the play, and now it's a free take onto this B site. Spike gonna be planted. The Dark gets queued up. They actually don't spot one coming, but they find the kill. Your boy Graves able to get it back, but Thief goes huge and finds a collateral, and it's all up to Anderson. An orbital strike to try and clear things out. He is able to find that one. Now he needs to worry about where Stellar is playing. Makes it a fuse. Wary of back hauls. This Omen could be literally anywhere except for Garden, unless he just recently crept on up. It is going to be a play. Coming out from hookah. He spots the purple grape of the Omen, but Stellar takes him down, and LG back in the win column.
From Anderson's perspective, that's so grim. Like, he's already checked everything else. He gets to the fuse, and you just see this little purple head kind of peek out from the window like, hey, see what's up? Yep. I mean... just kind of amusing, I guess. Maybe just for me. Either way, a big round from LG. Hitting that at 11. Not allowing Koalas to build up momentum. But Screwface has got that operator still, and we've seen the plays that this guy can make. Anderson, also a nice clutch attempt there, I have to say. Like, he basically played it as well as he could to give himself a chance to win, and just came up short. So again, you're seeing some nice hints of brilliance here from Koalas, and they're putting up a decent game, but they're just a little bit behind it. Oh, Screwface has been spotted here by that drone. He's not going to be able to get the jump on him with this op. He's going to have to force to play instead.
Yeah, that's tough, because it was spotting the Jet, knowing that's the op, and then hearing the rifle take down the drone.
They're like, we're
knowing
getting
that
out of
there's
here.
another one. Yeah, exactly.
We out. I mean, Screwface is taking it all the way, though, man. He is not letting up. And Moose, you know, he seems pretty weary that this is definitely possible. And they're doing a great job of not giving anything away. The problem is they're giving up a lot of map control by this operator being posted up here. And the Brim's also getting pretty aggressive on short. So they're just losing so much space.
Yeah, really respecting that operator, but Anderson was the first to find a kill over towards A short, playing aggressively himself. And unfortunately, that shot goes wide, but LG find themselves now down a player. And since then, they've had to be, they essentially were forced, it felt like, to go play over towards B because of all the pressure from the Koalas. And that's what you need to see. What you need to see for, if you're a Koalas fan, is Screwface with the operator not get collateraled by Thief. That's what you need to see, because that round is obviously different with him still on the board. But just like that last round, it's a quick take onto this B side. Harmon playing inside the smoke. The shock darts do so much damage. There's zero utility left coming out of that elbow position from the Kooky Koalas. As the boombot goes down, Thief holding right outside the operator. Holding tube and LG, they don't even have to move. They don't even have to peek. This is Koalas. They have to try and take it as the showstopper gonna get queued up. It's gonna go right in. Moves from the way out. Screwface able to dodge out, takes quite a bit of damage, but dies as well. Nearly flawless for LG as they move to map point, and the Koalas, I think they're in shambles here.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit tough here. They're going to have to win 5 in order just to force overtime. And again, LG is that team that the reason why they've been so successful is because they're so explosive, man. And they don't hesitate, and they're really good at spacing and just timing out how they, you know, take peeks and trade off of one another. Like, obviously, Thief has been a guy who's fearless and can really create space, but you also got your boy Dre, one of the newer pickups to the team, who is in that same vein, right? He's right there with them and being confident and being able to just go out there and trade out. They're using their utility to, you know, limit angles they have to, you know, be responsible for. And then they had basically the checkmate, which was they had the showstopper. So at any moment that Koalas wants to commit to the pushback on site, you got to watch out for that showstopper, and they timed that out perfectly as well. There was just no way back in, and now Koalas are in a lot of trouble. And it just gets worse.
It just gets worse. Now the information to come through, and I mean, the only thing you really had going for you, you had sheriffs, but then you had the knives, and Screwface unfortunately gets caught out trying to peek aggressively. Eve takes him down, and Koalas find themselves now in a 3v5. Is Paranoia gonna blind out the drone? Your boy Dre holding this close angle. Recon bolt queued up. Not gonna find too much there, and what it does find, it doesn't matter. It's a proto to spray him down. Flawless round to close it out, and LG crossed the finish line first.
And that's a bold statement, because it felt like that was the map that, you know, they were going to have their best chance on, in my opinion. Just thinking about the two teams' map pools and like what we've seen out of recent results, it felt like Vine was like the chance for them to pull off the upset. And again, they had their moments, but it felt like a lot of rounds they won were either A, based on really big individual plays like Screwface's op ace, for example, or was based on like alt combos, like whenever they got like a double kill with the Hunter's Fury, or they got like a big pick with the Showstopper to steal space on their attacking side. You know, it really came down to that when it came down to where they were, I wouldn't say like limited to bare bone basics, but when they didn't have those like kind of bonus features to their toolbox, they really struggled to be consistent on their attacking side in particular. And then even defensively, like even rounds that they did win, they were so labored. You know, they would really kind of slip on a banana peel here and there and kind of give LG a chance back to win the rounds. And so they never really got, I feel like they never really got solid footing, despite the fact that they were winning some rounds defensively. Their retakes just weren't nearly as polished as LG's were. And LG are really good about how they use their utility, right? Like they would save stuff. Like, you know, think about the second to last round that they won, where you basically have your boy Dre saving the Showstopper and the Boombot to hold off the retake as opposed to taking ground for the attack. Like they were kind of coordinated about what do we want to use to take and what do we want to save to hold off the retake, right? So they seemed like they were like really good with their resources and just generally out-fragging their opponents and just being more effective with their explosive play style. So well done to LG. They're showing you why they're one of the best teams in the region, while they've been on this come up.
100%. The LG, I mean, they're looking pretty refined. And although this is a tough team, the Koalas still have another chance, right? That's only map 1. So map number 2 is Icebox. And Icebox, I think one game was a stomp in the favor of the Kooky Koalas. The other game was an overtime loss against Beast Coast. So maybe some comfortability there, guys. As we do jump away for a quick break, make sure you grab yourselves a drink, grab yourselves a snack, and we'll see if the Kooky Koalas can take down one of the Titans of North America here in game number 2.
Contrast stitching, curves that'll hug your body, adjustable arms, custom embroidery, memory foam pillows, interchangeable color inserts. Lay flat, recline. Removable logos. Soft, durable material. Yeah. Like what you see, baby? Zip chair.
I feel like I need to defend my scene's honor here, because this is just turning into a bit of a dog battle.
Like in groups always look.
I'm cutting you off here. I'm cutting you off. Cutting you off. He said G2's winning it. He said G2's winning it.
We need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
Take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
But
that's
that
no
being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally.
Spike defused.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing!